day. This is Miss Jero. So now we will going to learn about chapter 1, which are the what is economics and the price theory and economic theory. Okay, so the contents of these chapters are number 1, economic activity, consumption, economic theory, an overview of the economy, types of economic system, characteristics of microeconomics, the model or economic models, the types of economic system. And these are the objectives. Number 1, basic economic terms. Number 2, identify the elements involved in the objective of satisfying wants. Number 3, differentiate economic analysis and economic policy. And describe the methodology used in the scientific approach in studying economics. Itemize the characteristics of microeconomics. Apply the use of economic models and economic analysis. Present an overview of a circular flow in the economy. And the last, which is the differentiate the types of economic system. Okay, so what is economics? So economics deals with economizing. Huh? Sabi economizing, we do budgeting. Okay? So, in budgeting, no, automatically, bakit tayo nagbabudget? Because we have limitations. So, dahil may limitasyon tayo, ano nangyayari? Nagkakaroon ng scarcity. Scarcity, which is the central of economic theory. The word economics was derived from the Greek words oikos, or a house. And the mean is to manage. So, meaning to say, economics relies, or let's say economics start in the household. Okay? So si household, meron siyang budget. Sumahod si nanay, sumahod si tatay, sumahod si ate, si kuya, or kung sino mong sumasahod sa bahay ninyo. Na kung saan yung budget na yon or yung sahod na yon, no, minamanage natin. Okay, like for example, konsenas katapusan. O yung konsenas tong sahod ko na to, kailangan magtagal to hanggang katapusan, hanggang sa sumahod ako ulit. So yung pagkakakasyahin mo, yung pagkakasyahin ninyo sa bahay, yung sahod na yon, that is what we call manage. Okay? So, bakit po tayo nagkakaroon ng managing our resources or our money? Because we have the so-called economic activity. So, ano po yung economic activity na yon? This is our consumption. Yung pagbili natin sa araw-araw, yung pagkonsumo natin ng ating mga basic needs, that is automatically economic activity. Okay? Bakit siya tinawag na economic activity? Because we pay for a certain products, we pay for a certain goods, na kung saan paulit-ulit natin siyang pinibili. Okay? So, the best example there is our basic commodities. So, now, for us to address this problem, we have some questions, no? Number 1, what are the goods and services are to be produced? Okay? Let's go with the household muna. So, sa bahay, gawin natin example muna sa bahay. Lahat itong mga problems na to or itong mga questions na ito. Okay, sa bahay, ano ba yung lagi, or let's say, ano ba yung paborito sa bahay? Or let's say, ano ba yung kasya ng budget? Okay natin, para maitawid ang buong maghapon. Ano yung pwede nating mabili? Okay, ano ba yung dapat na pwede nating ihain sa hapagkainan? So, yun yung ating goods and services. Ngayon, paano natin siya ipoproduce? Paano natin ito maibibigay? Or paano natin ito mapoprovide sa ating family? Okay? How can we produce this? For whom? Obviously, this is our families or yung nasa bahay natin. Or next is the resource efficiently used. Ito po bang mga goods na binili natin? Okay? Mapapakinabangan po ba ito ng lahat? Okay? Example, bumili ka ng meal. No, yung meal mo na yon, hindi pala siya kakainin ng lahat. Okay? So, in that sense, hindi po siya naging efficient. Why? Maybe may nasayang ka. No? What else? Are the resources fully employed? Ibig sabihin, lahat po ba ng mga ingredients na nabili mo sa bahay o nabili mo para sa bahay, nagamit po ba siya lahat? Or marami kang natira? And last is how to attain growth in the economy. So, when it comes to larger perspective, punta tayo ng business. Sa business, ang alamin niya, ano po ba yung goods and services na kailangan niyang i-produce. But, before they going to produce those goods and services, kailangan nilang malaman kung ano po ba yung consumable na pwedeng mabenta sa market. Okay? So, dito iikot yung for whom these goods and services are to be produced. For whom, meaning to say, businesses need to identify who are they target market. Okay? So, by having to identify the whom, okay, doon nila maiisip ngayon kung ano ba yung needs and wants ng kanilang target market. So, doon papasok yung what. So, after ng what, okay, nalaman na nila na ito yung needs ng target market nila. In this case, papasok na yung tinatawag na paano ko siya ngayon ipoproduce. Alright? Ano pa? Are the resources efficiently used? Ibig sabihin lang yan, yung raw materials po ba na ginagamit natin, okay, ay efficient. Ibig sabihin, may good quality ba ito? Okay? If you are referring with food, yung mga ingredients po ba natin, pumapasa sa panlasa ng ating mga consumers? Okay? Next is number 5. Are the resources fully employed? Ibig sabihin po, yung raw materials po ba na yun, hindi lang siya ginamit for a certain product. Kumbaga, yung raw materials na yun, it can be applicable with all the goods that you are producing. Yan. And the last is how to attain growth in the economy. Pag sinabing growth, automatically, it deals with managing. No? How can we prosper? Okay? Kumbaga sa business, paano siya kikita? Yan. So, para kumita siya, kailangan, itong mga question na nasa taas, okay, kailangan niya itong pag-aralan, kailangan niyang ibigay yung best effort niya. Okay? Para in the future, no, it can be a win situation for them. Alright, so next we have the circular flow in the economy. So, in our flow, okay, ito, madalas naririnig nyo ito, or madalas na pag-aaralan nyo ito with your other economic subject. So, we have the circular flow diagram. Dalawa lang naman yan. It deals with the circulation of money and the circulation of goods and services. So, pag sinabi natin goods and services, obviously, pinuprovide yan ni firm. Okay, any businesses. Ngayon, para i-provide ni firm yan, dapat syempre magbayad tayo. Okay, we need to pay for a certain goods and services that are provided by firm. Okay? Kanino pinaprovide? Kay household. Now, para may pambili si household ng kanyang pangangailangan, anong gagawin niya? Most of us, what? We do our hard work. Di ba? Nagtatrabaho tayo. O kaya, some of nagninegosyo, that's also work. Okay? So, ano nangyayari? Kapag kasi household nagtrabaho sa firm, ano makakuha niya? Obviously, the wages and salary. Para may panggastos siya. So, as you can see, paikot-ikot lang siya. Okay, that is what we call circular flow and in the economy. Ulitin natin. Ano po yung umiikot sa circular flow? Money, goods, and services. Yun po yung dalawa na yun. Kanino po sila umiikot? Kay household and kay firm. Okay, next we have the two branches in economics. Okay? So yung economics po are divided into two categories, which is the micro and macro. Let's talk about the micro first. So yung micro po, it deals with the individual agents such as household, yan sa bahay, businesses. However, no, yung macroeconomics naman, it's considered the economy as a whole, in which case, it consider aggregate supply and demand for money, capital, and also the commodity. So, aspect receiving particular attention in the economics are also resource allocations, production, distribution, trade, and competition. So, in economics may in principle be applied to any problems that involve choice under scarcity pa din, or determining or to determine the economic value. Okay. Sino po ba or paano po ba nag-start yung micro and macro. So this is coined by Frob Ragnar, priest of Oslo University during 1920s. So pag sinabi daw pong micro means millions part. Okay? Ibig sabihin, sa doon sa isang buo, may iba't iba siyang parte. Okay? So in Greek, mikros means small. Okay? Thus, microeconomics deals with the small part of the entire or the whole economy. So, like for example, if we are studying the price of a particular commodity instead of studying the general price level in the economy, so we actually studying microeconomics. Okay? So precisely, no, microeconomics studies the behavior of individuals units of economics such as, again, consumers, firms, and industry, etc. So therefore, it is the study of particular units rather than all units combined together. So microeconomics is also called price theory. Okay? So in which the explain the composition or allocation of the total production if we are repairing with business. Right? So in short, ulitin natin in short, see microeconomics, it deals with the behavior of individual consumers, firms, and industry, and also the distribution of production and income among them. So it also consider individuals both as suppliers of labors and capital as the ultimate consumers of the final product. On the other hand, it analyzes firms both and suppliers of products as a consumers of labors and capital. So ngayon, saan po ba umiikot yung tinatawag natin na microeconomics? So let's talk about the characteristics. Okay. So, in the characteristics of microeconomics, these are divided into three. Okay? So, ano po yung tatlo na yan? So, the pricing, or sorry, the theory of price, product pricing, and also the factors of pricing. And the last is economic welfare. So, let's talk about, let's discuss one by one. Okay. So, in theory of product pricing, which includes the theory of consumer behavior and the production and cost. So, paano po ba tayo nagbibigay ng price sa product natin? Example, nagtinda ka. Paano mo siya ngayon pepresyohan? So, sabi dito, pag prenesyohan mo daw yung product mo, tingnan mo muna, ano po ba yung behavior ni consumer towards your products? Okay? Example, ang behavior ni consumer ay they are price sensitives. So what will you do, no? Iisip ka ngayon ng pricing strategy, no? Kumbaga, yung pricing strategy mo na yon, it will attract your consumers when it comes to buying behavior. Next, theory of production and cost. Syempre, kapag ikaw ay nagbe-business para hindi ka malugi, anong gagawin mo? Syempre, kukumputin mo lahat ng iyong expenses at saka ngayon magbibigay ng markup. So, pag yung expenses mo plus your markup, that is your product price. Next, theory of factor pricing. So, kailan po nagbabago ang presyo? No? So, we have four. Number one, the wages. How wages change or how our wages can be increased. So, dito papasok ang tinatawag natin ng mga minimum wages, di ba? So, yung minimum wages po natin, nakadepende po yan sa standard of living sa bansa natin. So, kapag ka tumaas yung mga presyo ng mga basic commodities natin, automatically, anong gagawin ni government? Mag-i-intervene siya. Okay, so, pag nag-intervene siya, magbibigay siya ng batas. O, ito na yung ating minimum wage siya. So, ayan. Next, theory of rent. Kailan po nagbabago ang renta? So, depende po kung anong klaseng establishment yan, saan nakatayo yan. If we are referring with the land, gaano kalaki yung square meters niyan. So, yun. Even, di ba, kapag kayo, if you are renting in computer shop, diba? So, yung rent ninyo, nakadepende kung gaano katagal. So, the more na tumatagal kayo sa shop, the more na nadadagdagan yung binabayad ninyo. Next, yung factor pricing about, ulitin natin ulit rent sa computer shop. So, kailan po tumataas si computer shop? Siyempre, kapag po nag-upgrade siya ng internet connection. Okay, that's one of the factor. Next is theory of interest. Ang interest po, it deals with utang, 'di ba? Sangdaan, sinangla mo yung ano mo, yung alahas mo or sinangla mo yung cellphone mo. So may interest 'yon. Hindi mo babayaran 'yon doon sa kanyang ah, actual price kung magkano mo siya sinangla. Instead, syempre kailangan mo rin siyang tubuan and that is interest tubo. Okay? Same thing sa mga nagpapautang, 'di ba? Sa bangko may mga certain percentage sila. Ayan, yung mga nagka-credit card, may mga percent yan. There's no such thing as zero interest. Okay? Bakit po? Kasi syempre, nagpautang ka eh. Pinahiram mo yung pera mo eh. Alang hindi yung tumubo. Okay? Next is the theory of profit. So, kailan po ba ah, kumikita sa business? Okay? So, true. Kasi minsan, no, um, yung kapag ka kumikita, example, nag-ano si business, chinek niya. Okay, nagkaroon siya ng inventaryo. Ay, ang laki pala ng tinubo ko dito sa product na to. Anong gagawin niya? Mag-a-adjust siya ngayon ng price. Or in other way around, baliktad. Okay, nagkaroon siya ng fixed price. Or sabihin natin, meron siyang initial price. Tapos, in the long run, or habang tumatagal, ay, lumalaki yung aking cost. So, what will happen? Oh, hindi na siya kumikita. So, kapag hindi na siya kumikita, ano mangyayari sa presyo? 'Di ba? Babaguhin niya, tataasan niya para nga naman meron siyang profit. Okay? And for the last of the year of economic welfare. So, dito naman, it deals with the goods for everybody. 'Di ba? Ano ba yung makakabuti sa society? Ano ba yung makakabuti sa community? So, yan. Ano ba yung makakabuti? Like, for example, 'di ba ngayon, we are facing the coronavirus, which is leads to pandemic. So, ano ba yung makakabuti sa lahat? 'Di ba? Wala ng trabaho lahat. Halos lahat walang trabaho. Halos lahat surviving stages. So, ano yung gagawin ng government para naman kahit papaano maibsan yung stress no, na nararamdaman ng kanyang nasasakupan. So, yan po yung ating characteristics of microeconomics. Okay, next. Let's talk about the economic model. No, yung kaninang circular flow, isa siyang example. Okay? So, dito, no, economic model based on our definition, this is a hypothetical construct that embodies economic procedures using a set of variables in logical and or quantitative correlations. Yan, medyo nagre-reminisce pa kayo sa inyong research. Okay, next is it is a simplistic method using mathematical and other techniques created to show complicated processes. And for the last, an economic model can have many constraints which may change to generate different properties. Saan po ba ginagamit yung model? Okay? Ang model po o yung mga theories na ginagamit natin, it's simply what? Ito po yung nagiging medium or ito po yung nagiging way for us to solve a specific problem. Okay? So, bakit po? Kasi, kapag po may problem, may solusyon. Okay? Whatever the solution is that, we use different kinds of model. Alright, so these are the things that we're going to discuss. Okay? We have the descriptive. Okay? One of the theory, one of the model also. The economic principles. Yan. Economic theories, models, theoretical economics, and also the policy or applied economics. Okay, so first, let's talk about this method or economic model. Okay, ito economic model na to, this is differentiated into two. Okay, so ano daw po ba yung pinagkaiba ng inductive or empirical method doon po sa ating deductive or hypothetical method? Alright, so what are the difference between inductive and deductive? So, inductive, it deals with empirical method. No? So, yung empirical na ito, okay, it starts with the facts or specific observation which are based on empirical data and ends with theories, generalized explanations, or constructions about observed regularities. Pag sinabi naman po natin deductive, okay, it starts from generalization usually a hypothesis and ends with the facts to support or refute the general statement. The deductive method has developed or has been used to develop many economic model. So ngayon, ano po ba yung para mas maunawaan natin yung inductive or empirical method? This is also known as historical method. So, dito sa method na to, meron tayong tinatawag na concrete method. Pag sinabing concrete, buo siya. No? Pag sinabing buo, meaning to say, totoo. May fact siya. Ibig sabihin, solid. No? So, these are analytical method and realistic method. So, this method starts investigation. Why? Because this method is definitely based on the facts nga, no? And historical events and tries to generalize them with references to the whole economy. However, pag sinabi naman po nating deductive, okay, ang pinagkaiba niyan, deductive methods is also known as abstract, analytical, hypothetical, or prior methods. So this method accepts certain universal truth or tries to deduce inferences about the particular event through a process of logical reasoning. In other words, deductive method goes from general to a particular. Sabihin, habang tumatagal, yung entire analysis natin, okay, nagiging na lang siya, nagiging more specific. Right? So, yun po yung pinagkaiba. Kumbaga, pwede natin pag sinabing inductive, from small to large. Pag sinabing deductive, from large to small. Okay, so what is economic analysis and economic policy? So in our economic analysis, based off tools, ano ba yung mga ginagamit nating um, techniques, no? Ano ba yung mga ginagamit nating pamamaraan, okay, for us to analyze certain economic situations. So it derives principle from facts which are systematically arranged and interpreted. And the last, the task of economic theories is to systematically arrange, interpret, and generalize upon facts. However, when we talk about economic policy, it devise or to devise government action and to design institutions that might improve economic performance and achieve economic goals of the society is not simple and easy matter. Kumbaga ganito lang yan. In economic analysis, we analyze that nowadays, peoples are suffering. Okay? So, anong gagawin ni government? Okay? So, dahil nagsasuffer ang kanyang society, mag-iisip siya ng iba't ibang pamamaraan para matulungan niya ito. Paano niya ito matutulungan? By providing different kinds of law. Di ba ngayon meron tayong Act as one? So, that law can definitely help everyone because we have or we are currently facing this pandemic. So, yun lang po yun. Economic analysis and economic policy. Alright, so now let's talk about how to create or the steps of making economic theories. Okay, number one, obviously, no, alamin natin what is the problem. No? In the first step is to formulate our theory is the selection of the problem which must be stated clearly and correctly. So the problem to be explored may be very wide like poverty, unemployment, inflation, etc. Or it may be narrow relating to an industry. So the narrower the problem, ibig sabihin, the more na mas pinaliliit natin yung problem or we get the root of the problem, the better. Next. Okay, in formulation our hypothesis about the economic phenomena to be analyzed. So a hypothesis is a suggested answer to problems may be the aid of which we endeavor to explain facts by discovering their orderliness. The hypothesis arise from the observed facts, obviously, no experience or previous knowledge of the researcher. So in this stage, simplifying assumptions may be introduced so that a particular hypothesis may be developed fully. It is this special assumption which become formulated consciously as hypothesis. So, like for example, no, the assumption that producers aim to maximizing their profit. So, this kind of hypothesis definitely can be real, no? Which the theory of business behavior can be constructed. Okay, ulitin natin ha. Um, you find the problem. Now, sinabing hypothesis, ano ba yung suggested guess mo? You need to have suggested guess. Okay? Para ano? Okay? Para ma-predict mo kung paano ba ang pwedeng maging solusyon doon sa iyong problem. Okay. In our prediction, no, malalaman mo, okay. Example, sa selecting of the problem sa business, no? The business problem is about how to maximize their profit. Okay? So, ano yung magiging hypothesis natin doon? Or ano yung magiging suggested guess natin doon? Okay? So, anong gagawin? We're going to formulate what? Different business strategy. Next, prediction. In our prediction, using this strategy, what will happen with the output? Okay? Ito po bang mga ginawa nating suggested guess ay magkakaroon po ba ng materialize? Okay? Magkakaroon po ba siya ng, magmamaterialize po ba ito? So, predict natin, no? Kailan ba tayo kikita by using this kind of business strategies? Next, testing of prediction. So, na-predict mo na, okay, in the long run, dahil gumagamit ako ng mga strategies, okay, by 10 years or 5 years from now, di ba? Ito yung kikitain ko. So, why not test it? Why not do it? Di ba? Ulitin natin, may problem. Problem is about profitability of business. So, dahil may problem sa business, kung paano siya kikita, iisip siya ngayon ng iba't ibang strategy. Ko-formulate siya ngayon ng kanyang hypothesis. Suggested guess ko para dito, dapat magkaroon tayo ng different marketing mix, mga ganyan. So, doon sa marketing strategy na yon, ipipredict natin, kailan ba ito pwedeng mag-materialize or gaano pa ito katagal para makuha natin yung tinatawag natin na return of investment. And then, you're going to test that. Kasi, guys, pag hindi nyo tinest yung inyong hypothesis, itong mga steps na to, mababaliwala. Alright? Next. Steps for making economic policy. Yeah, number 1, syempre, the statement of our goal must be clear. Okay, this should be definitely economic goals, no, to be achieved. Number 2, effects of alternative policy. So dito, no, this second step is to examine and consider the possible effects of alternative policies designed to achieve the economic goal. Like for example, while considering the merit and demerit of fiscal policy in the achieving or the achievement of desired level employment, the altering monetary policy must remain under examinations. Okay, next we have the evaluation. So the third steps is to evaluate the effectiveness of the policy. The process of evaluation should be continuous. If any drawbacks is found, it is definitely easy for us to backtrack, so that whatever the weak point that we have, we can improve. Alright, so while we are discussing the scope of economics, we also think of whether economics is positive or normative science. So in this or in here, the positive science describe what is. Okay? This one. What is, and the normative science explain what ought to be. So thus positive science describe a situation as it is. So whether normative science analyzes the situation and suggests comments on wrongness or rightness of things or state. For example, the population of here in the Philippines is rising. Okay? The positive statement is a positive statement. And the rising population is an obstacle in the way of development. So that is normative statement. Ulitin natin ha. Example, sa Philippines, nagiging positive ito. Bakit? Kasi dumadami tayo. So the more na dumadami tayo, the more na lumalakas yung ating paggawa. Okay? However, if we deals with the normative science or normative economics, okay? Mapapaisip tayo, ay, the more na dumadami tayo, the more na nagkukulang yung ating mga resources. Okay. Next is we have economic system. Ano-ano po ba yung ating economic system? So, before we discuss the four economic system, no? These economic systems have unique, distinguish about their characteristics. Although they are all share some basic features like each economy function based on the condition and also the assumption. So, these economic systems are categorized into four nga. So, ano po yung apat na ito? So, we have traditional system, the command system, the market system, and the mixed system. Now, let's talk about the traditional economic system. So, this system is based on goods, services, and work, all of which follow certain established trends. It relies a lot on the people. And there is a very little division of labor or specialization. In essence, the traditional economy is very basic and the most ancient of the four types. Some parts of the world still function with the traditional economic system. It is commonly found in rural setting in a second or even in a third nation or third world nation, where economic activities are predominantly farming or other traditional income generating activities. There are usually very few resources to share in their communities with traditional economic system. Either few resources occur naturally in the region, or access to them is restricted in some ways. So thus traditional system, unlike the other three, lacks the potential to generate a surplus. Nevertheless, precisely because of its primitive nature, the traditional economic system is highly sustainable. In addition, due to its small output, there is a very little wastage compared to other three system. Okay? Ulitin natin. Yung traditional po, ito po yung kumbaga, para mabuhay sa isang tahanan, kailangan niyang magtrabaho. Okay? So, paano siya magtatrabaho? Before kasi, napakasagana. Even now, no? Napakasagana natin sa natural resources. So, kung nagugutom ka, anong gagawin mo? Magtanim ka ng gulay, magtanim ka ng palay para maging bigas. So, doon lang umiikot yung traditional system. It's very traditional. No? For you to survive, you need to commit yourself into farming. Para kapag ka nagutom ka, pipitas ka lang. So that is very traditional system. Next, we have the command economic system. Yan. So pag sinabing command, obviously, it deals with parang ano yan, lahat ng power na kay government. Okay, si command system, it's also known as socialism, or sa the simple term, no, communist. Yan, mga komunistang bansa. So their decision are definitely based from the government. If an economy enjoy access to many resources, so dahil na si government lahat, so lahat pantay-pantay, no? Walang mayaman, walang mahirap. Yan. So chances that it may learn towards the command economic structure. In such case, no, the government comes in and exercises control over the resources. Ideally, centralized control covers valuable resources such as gold or even the oil. The people regulate other less important sectors of the economy such as agriculture. So ano ba yung mga komunista nating bansa, no? So we have North Korea, no? So sila talaga yung hanggang ngayon command system sila. Lahat ng kanilang activities or economic activities ang nagpapatakbo ay government. Okay? Now, we have the market system o yung bansang kapitalista. So, huwag na tayong lumayo. Okay? Welcome in the Philippines. So, Philippines are very market system. Why? Because everyone can invest. No? Kung gusto mong kumita, magtinda ka lang online. The government will not fully control you. So, that is market system. Next, we have mixed system. So, si mixed system is just a combination of command and market system. Ibig sabihin, win-win situation. No? Pag sinabi, like for example, sabi dyan sa bansa na yan, sabi ng government, magtataas ako ng taxes. Yan. Magtataas ako ng income tax or corporate tax. Ang sabihin ng mga businesses, okay, sige. No problem. But, okay? Pero ito yung magiging presyo namin. No? Kumbaga, ito dapat yung maging retail price. Kumbaga, ito dapat yung maging suggested price from the government. So, yun yung tinatawag natin na mixed system. It's a win-win situation between the government and the businesses. Alright, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any question, please ask.